Hey Pet Pro, this episode is sponsored by some incredible brands we personally use and love.
And their support helps keep the mics on, so you will hear more about them throughout the show. Hey, my pet pro, have you ever wanted your own branded line of quality pet chews like Sherry has?
Yeah, and you know where I get them? Aardvark Pet Products. They're my secret weapon because they offer a private label program just for indie pet stores with low minimums and no hidden fees.
Which means that you can put your name and your logo on high quality chews without the big brand hassle.
It's a game changer for indie pet stores ready to boost margins and build their brand.
Check out everything they have at aardvarkpet.com because it's time indie retailers got the upper paw.
That's ARTVARK pet.com. And if you want a $600 design pack for free and to avoid those pesky setup fees, plus get 10% off your first order, be sure to mention the Pet Shop Girls sent you. Hey everybody, I'm Sherry.
And I'm Carly.
And welcome back to the Pet Shop Girls podcast. How you doing today, Carly?
I'm good. I have been doing a lot of, I'm kind of getting back into a regular routine, regular schedule because I've got a team back in place. So I've got three amazing little rock stars in the store. And we've kind of figured out a more consistent schedule. So everybody kind of has that consistency, including me.
Thank God. You know what? It benefits me because you are not as stressed now. Oh my gosh. I was walking on eggshells, y'all, when she was running ragged. I thought we were going to lose her there for a minute.
I did too. Believe me, I did too, because I was like just in a ball fetal position in the corner. But yeah, so I'm getting a bunch of stuff done that I've been wanting to get done, but I just didn't have the time because everybody knows all of the things that we do to make our businesses beautiful and effective and productive and profitable takes time.
Oh my gosh, including season 3. I know we're rambling here for a minute, but we've been working hard on season 3 and we are actually rebranding some stuff for
isn't that convenient?
Yeah, it is, because we're talking about branding, right?
And listen, if you read the title of this particular episode, your brand is not your logo. I think a lot of business owners, this is not specific to pet, but I think a lot of business owners think like, I'm going to start a business. And so they come up with a name and they come up with a logo and they're like, there we go. I have a business because social media exists. But that your logo is a component of your brand. And I think the easiest way to look at this is the brand that you create and the brand that you continue to foster every single day is the feeling that your business provides your customer.
Right. And that feeling is how they feel when they come into the store, how they feel when they click on your website.
Or on your socials.
I could go so far as to say, how does the business card that you just handed them make them feel?
Mm-hmm. Because it's all of those elements. And so those tangible pieces, the business card, the pamphlet, the brochure, the postcard, the poster, like all of those paper pieces have to be consistent. You don't want a red postcard beside your green poster, beside your orange business card, beside your blue, like, right? Where's the consistency?
I've been in stores that honestly don't look so great, but all of their printed materials look fabulous. And then it's usually the opposite. I'll go into a store and love it, and it's awesome. The customer service is great. They have a great selection of products, but their printed materials don't match that feel.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, why? Why?
Well, and I think about when I've walked into stores, some of them are pet stores, and I don't see a brand.
Mm,
I see disconnect.
there's no identity. They don't
There is
know.
no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and so I think your brand, when we say that your brand is not your logo, so many people think if I pick my name and I've picked a logo and maybe I throw in some colors and red and black just happen to be my business colors, but I really love the color fuchsia or whatever. And so they throw fuchsia into with the red and black, and then it looks disconnected because we haven't done the groundwork. Now this is your wheelhouse, Sherry. This is what you love doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's picking the colors, establishing your logo, doing your fonts, your Canva brand kit.
And I want to say these days, you have AI to help you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even just a handful of years ago, you would have had to pay an agency $5,000, $10,000 to come up with your logo, a color palette, some
A
fonts,
tagline.
yeah, a tagline, and then a couple of like graphics to use in the background. And you're
Yeah.
going to pay 5 grand for that?
Yeah.
No, 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 not today. Not today, y'all.
Not
And
today, Satan.
look, I'm not talking to new stores here or new brands. I've I've been in business for 20 years, and actually what got me thinking about all of this was this is our 20th year in business. I actually created a 20th year anniversary logo that I'm using on a lot of my printed materials. I made t-shirts. I put it on our Instagram for the whole year. It's going to go up for the whole year. And in doing that, I updated a lot of other things too. So I was telling Carly before we jumped on, if you scroll back on my Instagram, there's this bright yellow color that I had picked a few years ago, and I used it on everything. And honestly, right after I picked it, I didn't even really like it, but I had already put it all over the internet and all over these printed materials, and it was just too late. Well, this year I decided to kind of phase it out, right? And I replaced it with a rich gold color. And I've been slowly replacing my printed materials and updating all the images on my Instagram and website. And so look, you can change and evolve your brand because it will look stale after a while. So
Mm-hmm. It
so a
will
lot of
look
these
dated.
tips, yes, a lot of these tips
Yeah.
will apply to established companies.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, where do you want me to go next, Carly? Sorry.
Well, so what I was thinking too, like, well, even when you touched on if you were working with a marketing agency and that was going to cost you thousands of dollars with Canva, and even back, when did we do the retailer retreat? Three,
Eight,
two years ago?
2 years ago?
2 years or 3 years ago?
Oh
I bet you it's
gosh.
3 years. Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
you. Yeah. So we
AI
talked
wasn't
about
even that good that back then to do what
no,
it can do now. Yeah.
no. I mean, we talked about it and we talked about all of the things that it could do then, but it's of course advanced. But we went deep into Canva and building your brand kit in Canva, super easy. Once you've kind of identified your colors, you can
Right.
even give it.
It'll suggest, like, if you have your
Mm-hmm.
main color, and I'm not saying change your main color. You got your main color, whether that be green, blue, red, whatever. But then you need your accent colors, and it'll help you pick that palette based on your main color. So I'd
Right. So that you're
start
not
there.
blending like green and orange to make brown. Like,
So that yellow color I was talking about, that was one of my accent colors. And
mhm.
and I decided to change it this year, and I
Yeah.
like it a lot better.
Well, and you know what? And I'll tell you too, like before I opened House of Paws, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Upwork, which is just you're hiring these free agents.
Or like
It's like
Fiverr.
Fiverr. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fiverr, Upwork, same thing. And I hired a graphic designer, if you will, on Upwork, and I paid $7 for my logo.
Stop it, right? $7 for her logo.
$7. So It was actually,
And
he was
I gotta
really,
say, your brand, like what you've created, Carly, is absolutely amazing, especially for somebody who doesn't have an art background. And this was your first business that you created
well, not
later in
my,
life. No, it's
well,
impressive.
this was my first brick and mortar business, I would
Okay,
say.
got
But there,
yes,
I had
true.
little businesses I ran out of my basement leading up to this. So I had figured some stuff out, but
Okay.
on my own, right? What is that called? The School of Hard Knocks? Or,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did. Yeah. But the guy that I worked with to build my logo was really interesting. He was an artist. And so he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand draw about 60 options. Hand draw,
That's a lot. For
right?
$7?
Yeah. And so, for $7. So, because I had said to him, listen, it's going to be a pet boutique for cats and dogs. I want it to be like classy and clean, and like I gave him a bunch of adjectives to describe what I was wanting, but I could tell him like I want it to be teal, probably black and white. I don't know, like I couldn't tell him anything else. He says I'm going to hand draw 60 different options, and all I want you to do is kind of go in and pick like two or three that resonate with you so that then I have a better idea and I can refine what I think you want. And I'm like, okay, cool. Cause like I'm not artistic or anything. So like I really need your help here. And okay. So he did this. He did the 60 and I went through them and I'm like, well, I kind of like these two or three. And he's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And so it was actually my suggestion. He had the little house over the paw in front of House of Paws, but he had two walls on the house. And I don't know if this makes sense as I'm describing this, but I had said to him, can we take away the wall of the house beside the H so that the H of House of Paws makes up that second wall? And then it's just basically we have the one wall and then the roof over the paw beside the H. And he's like, oh my God, you said you weren't artistic, but that was a totally artistic move. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So he did that. He did that little adjustment. We put the House of Paws boutique and he's like, what colors do you want them in? I'm like, this, that, and these. And he's like, done, $7 bill. I'm like, thank you. And
Right?
now I blast
And
that logo everywhere.
so the colors that you pick in Canva, they will give you like this, like, what is it? Like a hashtag or a number? Is it the hex?
Hex code. Yeah.
A hex code. So then you
Yeah.
can take that hex code and use it in your email platform. You can plug that hex code into almost any platform and it knows what it is, so you can match it directly. I
Yeah.
also thought of something else, Carly, and I may be jumping around here.
Well, hold on thought for one
Okay.
second, because
Okay.
I know that there's going to be some folks out there saying, how do I find my hex code? The
Mm.
easiest way to do it, if you haven't built a brand kit in Canva, is upload your logo to Canva, click on the logo, and then click on the color wheel as though you want to recolor something, and then click the little eyedropper and highlight over your logo, and then click on that. It will show you your hex code. That
And then
sounds a
you can
lot more
start,
complicated than it is. I promise
but
you, it's
yeah.
super easy when you get in there.
And then you can start building out your brand kit if you don't have one,
Mhm,
which you
mhm,
need one. Oh my
mhm.
gosh. No, I just thought of something, Carly, because look, it may be time to refresh your business cards. In fact, I did that this year too.
Yep.
And refresh your rack card. If you don't have a rack card, you probably need one. And it could be a bifold or a trifold, but I prefer like a single card.
Mhm,
And it's like an all about you type thing.
mhm.
Now, here's a thought, because I have walked into several stores and their rack card just, it looks sad. It's so sad compared to how lovely their store is.
Mhm.
And I know we're not all graphic designers here. I get it. But these days what you can do, you can create your design in Canva, download it as a PDF or a PNG or a JPEG. I'm pretty sure AI, Chat, or Claude will take all of those
Yeah.
files. And I've done this a few times with some private label stuff I've been doing. I upload it into your AI platform and I say, okay, what can I do to make this look better?
Mhm.
And then it'll actually tell you, make this font like small, or make this smaller, make this bigger, make your logo, move your logo to the left a little bit. There's too much space right here. Move this up. And it is surprisingly helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Incredible.
if you are in our Indie Insider Facebook group, I recently shared, well, I guess this was a little while back, but well, actually, Elena Stanley started this ball rolling. So she's a member of our Indie Insider. She's also a Substacker, and she owns a pet store in Nevada. And she created a flip book, so an online magazine for information about Apoquil for her customers. For
I've
those who
always
may
called
not
it
know,
Apoquel.
okay, some people say Apoquil. I say Apoquil. Like, I don't know. I'm
Potato,
zingers.
potato.
That's what it is. It's basically a medication that dogs are, I don't know about cats, but dogs for sure, if they're itchy, they get this immune suppressing
It's like
drug to
like Cytopoint.
exactly like Cytopoint. So Elena started this ball rolling because she shared into the group that, hey, I just created this because I was very angry of how many people are getting their dogs on these meds and even puppies and all the things. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I love this. And it was already on my list
You
to do like,
stewed it. You stewed it, didn't
I
you?
totally stewed it. I totally stewed it. I stole it. I tweaked it. I used it. I stewed it. But it was on my list of email ideas is to talk about these kind of immune suppressing medications that, in my opinion, are being handed out like candy instead of trying to identify root cause. We're simply trying to put a band-aid on diabetes. So I shared Elena's anger and rage over this. And of course I didn't want to copy Elena like word for word what she did. She put all the work into that. But it twigged me to make a brochure. And I used Claude to help me out with this. So I went and I did my research and I pulled all the information in about Apoquil and about Cytopoint and all these things. And I told Claude, like, this is how I feel. This is what we do. This is what we recommend in place of this kind of stuff. This is why we're not fixing these problems. We're masking symptoms, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I want to make this trifold brochure or whatever. So help me out with this. And it, it was awesome. It was like, okay, main cover is going to be this. And it suggested you should do this in a bright blue. You should do this in a white. You should do this
Because
in
it's
black. Like,
not just about putting the information on the card. You want to make it visually appealing.
and, and representative of your brand.
Yep.
So the beautiful thing, I loved the brochure when it was done. It's just,
It is
it's a gorgeous little
gorgeous.
document. I loved it. But when it came, because of course I ordered through Vistaprint and it came and I'm like, this is not Carly Blue or House of Paws Teal. Like, what the heck happened here, Vistaprint? And I sent them a picture of here's the proof that you gave me and here's what I received in the physical copy. And they're like, oh my goodness, we're so sorry. If you could just do this, then we'll get this reprinted for you. And they just came, like they came a couple days after. Beautiful, beautiful House of
Yeah.
Paws Teal. They
Yeah.
represent our brand. The muted pastel blue that it came in originally, I was like, what is this? Is not my
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think I've said this before too. Like, if you do some shopping online, like yes, I love the brand Skims. So I've walked into a Skims store and it's like walking into their website. It is so interesting. It feels so surreal. When a brand nails it like that. But yeah,
And again, for those who may not know, Skims is like underwear and leggings and t-shirts and
yeah, loungewear, some workout
yeah,
wear. Yeah, for
yeah,
women mostly. Yeah.
yeah. But you make a good point there, Sherry. So here's the thing for our indies is big box companies. I'm not going to say big box stores, but big box companies, because even Amazon, not a store, but has nailed their brand. When you see that brown paper box with a smiley face on it, what looks like a smiley face, that's Amazon. They've branded, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the big boxes can always beat us on price, beat us on convenience because they've got more people to work 24 hours and we can't. They can beat us on maybe even product selection in the amount of, sorry, what I mean by that is volume. how many we might carry 3 kinds of product A, but they carry 13 because they've got the space and they've got deeper pockets. But where they will never beat us when it comes to branding, where they will never beat us is the experience that your brand provides, the feeling that your brand creates for your customer. Do you think for half a second that if I walked into PetSmart, that they'd be like, "Oh my God, Zane!" Like they
No,
they don't know who Zane is. Well, unless they follow us on social media, I guess. But
no, they
but
don't
they
even
don't.
look like they want to be there.
No, they don't even look at you. Never mind that. So, and this has happened to me. I have walked into the PetSmarts in my city, and the people behind the desk, like I walk in and I say hello, and they just kind of give me a head shake, and then they're off to their conversation with their coworker again. Like that's where part of your brand, a big part of your brand, is the feeling that your customer gets that you are providing as part of your brand experience of shopping with you,
So,
right? That's all about you.
yes, obviously, customer service is a huge part of it. And we could have 10 podcasts on just customer service.
Yeah.
But I would say the education that you provide your
Mm-hmm.
community sets us apart too. And
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be on brand as well with how your documents look. And if you have flyers in your store, it all needs to be cohesive.
Well, and okay, and then even I'm going to say the accenting pieces in your store. I got a couple little stories.
Yes, yes, yes.
So when I was first opening, and my store was not even open yet, it was literally a construction site with the construction dudes in there. But I was already out there buying decor for my store. And I remember the one electrician said to me, he's like, "Is there anything you haven't found in teal yet?" I'm like, "Not yet." But when I didn't find things in teal, I spray painted them. So I found I have a couple in my store. They're garden statues, I'm assuming. They're great big cement statues of dogs or a dog head or whatever. Even my buckets in my chew station, I wanted them to be my brand. So I bought, do you think I could find teal colored buckets out there? No, I could not. But I found silver and I found a teal spray paint and I spray painted them to match my brand. I spray painted my cement dogs to match my brand. So I've literally got 3 huge teal dogs
Oh, yeah.
in my
I've
store.
got a whole shelf of spray paint that's green and black and white.
Mhm.
Lots of chalkboard spray paint too. Yeah.
But and you
One
know what? But
one
this
thing I did, Carly, along those lines is I finally got a doormat when you walk in that has my logo on it. All this is
I'm
part of
sorry,
your
did you say
branding.
finally? Did you say finally?
Yeah. Yeah.
20 years?
Well, I got it like last year. Yeah.
19 years. I had my doormat before my doors opened.
Now, is it carpet? Okay, see, I struggled with the whole carpet thing because we have a lot of dogs come in. We've got grooming, boarding, daycare, and I have seen dogs come in and immediately take a pee. I'm like, I do not want to deal with that with carpet. Well, I had a cheap like a cheaper carpet one that we got at like Sam's or something, and they would get ruined fairly quickly. And I'm like, carpet's just it's not going to work for how high volume traffic my store is. And then I realized there's rubber ones with like little like
The little rubber nubbies.
grippy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we can just take it outside and hose it off. Anyway, I love it. It's beautiful. I'm pissed that I didn't do it sooner. But it all enhances the brand.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's honestly okay. That is why I have a carpet shampooer at my store. So that
Uh,
usually when there's a long weekend on the Sunday, we shampoo our carpet so that it dries by Monday. But I like the idea of the rubber one too. In the summer, it wouldn't really matter for us, but in the winter, my mat takes a beating because of all the salt and the
Ooh,
snow and the
yeah.
sand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, no, the carpet for sure I had. But even Becky in the Indie Insider group, when I posted my Charles Barkley dog for Easter, And he was that little like foliage dog made out of foliage that I put Easter bunnies on. Becky made the comment on there that she wasn't seeing as much teal as she expected. So this is like, I mean, obviously teal is the House of Paws signature color, right? Like everybody knows that it's teal. It's House of Paws. But that teal is also not my brand. It's just part of
it's
it, right?
part of it, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to move on to a pretty important part, and that is your tagline. If you don't have one, time to pick one. If you do have one, might want to reevaluate. You can always change it. There's no hard and fast rules here. So what should a tagline do, Carly?
Well, I would say that, okay, your tagline is not your mission statement. That is completely different. It's about, again, that feeling that you are giving to your customers, right? It's about, they speak to what you do and kind of how you do it.
And what does the customer benefit from
Yep.
shopping with you?
And the relationship that you're trying to establish, right? And I mean, I think they also, I thought that the name House of Paws Pet Boutique was pretty self-explanatory. I learned quickly that it is not. People don't know.
No, you could sell guinea pigs. You don't know what that means.
That, and a lot of people think we do grooming.
Yeah.
So initially my tagline, that's what I was going to say, that I like that you said that you don't have to keep it. Initially my tagline, and I would say that this is probably still part of our mission, but my tagline was that we were extending the lives of pets through nutrition. That was my tagline. But also people didn't know what that meant. So now my tagline has changed to a different breed of pet store.
Ooh.
So that's what's on our shirt, a different breed of pet store, because we're not your average pet store. We're not the guy that has rows and rows and rows of kibble. And we're not the pet store that just points you down an aisle when you asked for tear wipe stains or whatever you're asked. I don't know it's personalized service. We're there to talk about natural, holistic solutions. Have I included the holistic piece like you did? No, but I just said we're a different breed of pet store. But now when you see House of Paws Pet Boutique, a different breed of pet store, no, we're a pet store.
And it's creative. It's to the point. It evokes a feeling. Yeah. So ours, it took me, I had to dwell on it for a while because I wanted it to cover a few different things. Ours is holistically improving the lives of pets since 2006. So the 2006 part says, hey, we've been here a long time.
Yep.
Which is a pretty big deal, at least in my book. Holistic, you got that in there. Pets, you got that in there. My situation's a little different in that we do a lot of services, so grooming, boarding, plus we have fish. So I had to figure out, I couldn't put breed or dog in it because we cover a lot of ground. And I fell on that one and did it without AI, mind you. And yeah, that's on my business cards. That's on what's that on Instagram, Carly? You can put it on your Instagram to where it pops
the
up.
one bold line.
Yes.
I think it's referred to as your account name because your username, which is going to be like your @ House of Paws Pet Boutique, which everybody knows, but you should be using that space right below your profile picture. And I think Instagram calls that your account name. What a lot of people do is they make the mistake of using their username in the one and only bold line of text that you get on an Instagram profile. And instead of that being your repeat username @ House of Paws Pet Boutique, or maybe I like clean it up and I just make it House of Paws Pet Boutique instead of a username, but they already know that's where they are. What that should be is your tagline.
Exactly. Get your point across in multiple ways, multifaceted. But yeah, another way to approach a tagline, I guess, and this is the way that I've kind of done it, is you guys have likely heard us talking about an elevator speech. And that elevator speech is kind of that 30 seconds, really quick hitter, who you are, what you do.
But one of the main mm, purposes of an elevator speech, or one of the main objectives you should be trying to achieve when you create an elevator speech, is to create curiosity, to make the person that you say your little elevator speech to say, tell me more. And if so, I kind of looked at our tagline like that as well. House of Paws, a different breed of pet store. Oh, why are you different? What makes you
Right.
different?
Yeah.
Like, if they ask a question about it to continue the conversation, that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So it might be time for a refresh on your tagline. Yeah, and I think there was a couple that we had here that I kind of liked. I These don't belong to anybody that I know of, but I liked a couple of these. Empowering pet parents one bowl at a time.
Yeah, I love that one.
That one's good. Yeah. What's another? Oh, feed better, live longer. That may actually belong to a brand. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what you can do. If you're kind of thinking, hmm, I don't have a tagline, so then of course you need one, or mine doesn't really say the things I need it to. What you can literally do this week is just draft like 3 versions of a potential tagline using different approaches. Transformation, the relationship that you want, the differentiator between you and your competitor. Say them out loud, share them with your team or your friends or your family, and like, which one do people resonate with? Here's another cool thing you could literally do is, if you kind of, now you've gone through this exercise, and maybe you started with more than 3 because you're like, oh, I don't know, there's like 9 that I like. And now you've narrowed it down to 3. Get your customers involved. Find out what they resonate with, because they will tell you how you make them feel. So when you say, we're looking to rebrand or redo our tagline, do a poll on Instagram or do a survey through email and get your customers involved in picking that tagline, because they'll tell you. Because remember what they always say, that other people's perception is reality. So
Plus,
they'll tell
people have an opinion on everything.
you, right? Because aren't they like something else that
We're
everybody
all
has?
we're
Anyways.
all critics, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when we think about brands, though, too, we've got the visual piece. I think we've hammered that home. I almost used profanity for how much we hammered that one home.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Hey,
would
it's
say
important because look, we've all walked into stores and it just it's not cohesive. So
it, and you're right. Like, it's
please step back and look at all aspects and
the
see if
big
it's cohesive.
boxes, and again, whether this is pet or not, the big boxes have the brand piece down packed.
They have like multi-million dollar marketing teams. But these
Exactly.
days, I think we can compete and we can do a darn good job at it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think too that when we talk about our brand, this is also part of the brand that we are creating, is the promise that we make to our customers. What is that promise? The promise of the service that we offer, or that we say we're going to provide, and then living up to that, right? Like, if we,
Like are you saying does your product mix match what your mission is? Like so if you are positioning yourself as a higher end cleaner pet store, yet you
but I
have
sold
Friskies on
pedigree.
your
Yeah,
shelf,
exactly.
it doesn't make sense,
It's a
right?
conflicting message, and
Very
it's,
conflicting. It's
yeah,
confusing to customers. And
yeah.
for me as a customer, if I thought that you were a holistic store and then I saw Friskies, I wouldn't trust you.
No, that's exactly okay. So that's exactly what part of your brand is when I talk about the feeling that we leave customers with, right? Uh, My customers now, 6.5 years in, when I say I'm dropping a brand because of XYZ, and I have had to do this twice in the past like 3 months, brand shifted gears, but so did we. Because just because you make it onto my shelf or into my freezer doesn't mean you stay there. You still have to earn your spot. And so twice now, I have had to tell my customers, yes, we carry this brand, but no, we will no longer. And here's why. One, part of my core values at House of Paws for my team is transparency. We expect transparency from our brands, but we also provide transparency to our customers. If a store is like, oh no, we're not carrying that anymore because it doesn't meet our standards. Well,
But why?
what are your
Yeah.
standards? Like what changed? Because you had this brand and now they don't meet your standards. What did they do to
Now,
change?
I want to back up really quick and say, look, I know everybody has a different niche, and if you're a farm and feed and you carry Old Roy, fine, that's your brand.
Yeah.
But we're just using the holistic aspect as an example.
Yeah. Well, because we live in it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so my customers not only have they said like we'll do whatever you say because we trust you. So just tell us if you've got rid of this food, what else should we feed? But they've also told me in the past when I had considered at one point thinking, okay, money is tight for folks. Do I bring in more economical options? They would not be the best of the best like I curate today. I refuse to carry any less than than the best of the best. But in speaking with some of my customers about it, they said, please don't do that. Like we love that we can come into your store and shop with confidence, knowing that anything we pick up will positively impact our dog's health. And this wasn't just one customer, it was multiple customers because I started questioning my customers. How would you feel if we brought in these types of products to make it more affordable for folks who want to shop here, but just can't afford these particular products? And they're like, no, this is why we shop here because we know you've done the research. And so that is part of my brand, right? And if I then turned around tomorrow and had a great big Friskies display, my customers would be like, what is happening? Is this
What?
under new management?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, whether you're farm and feed or a super high end boutique like Carly, we're just saying your
you got to be
product mix
consistent.
should match your brand and your mission and your goals.
I know one of my former employees, and he had worked at another pet store before he worked for us. And he became a customer before he became an employee. And then he had furless hound children. And then he just didn't have the time to have a second job. But anyways, when he first started in my store, of course, he's in the back and I've got totes of props that I use to do my videos. But he sees this sitting on a back shelf and he's like, why do you have a box of milk bones in here? And I'm like, because those are my props. I'm like, if you look through that entire box, you're gonna see crap you would never see on my shelves. But I have to buy it to be able to educate people on why you don't want to buy it. So, anyways, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is he already knew what to expect and he wasn't an employee yet. It was literally his first shift and he was confused why we had a box of milk bones in the back.
Right, right.
So
For
yeah, my
sure.
customers would be
Well,
too.
I'm sitting here trying to think if you're a grooming salon and you do have some product, and let's say you want to sell grooming supplies
Yep.
to your clients, you're not going to bring in like the dollar store shampoo
No.
or a dollar store quality brush. No, you're going to have the good stuff because that's what you recommend and what you would
Mm-hmm.
use on
Mm-hmm.
your pets. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you just want to be consistent for sure.
Yep.
All right.
And I think too, okay, we're kind of going down this path. We're talking about consistency in the brand. And I think that another component of that is the education and the empowering or the when we empower pet parents through education in our stores. No big box is ever going to be able to do that like you do. And that is part of your brand as well. That also is part of the experience that you're providing your customer. So when I remember when we first opened and a customer she's a regular customer, she shops with us all the time now, but it was her first time in the store and she didn't have her dog, but she showed me a picture of her dog, beautiful white baby dog. no tear stains. And she's a little girl, right? So she typically would have had tear stains. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, do you feed her bone broth? And she's like, yeah, yeah. She's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, well, because bone broth detoxes the liver and that's what gets rid of those tear stains. And she doesn't have any. So I just presumed that you fed her bone broth. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, how did you know how to do that? And she's like, my vet told me that. I'm like, oh, is Dr. Stamen your vet? She's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, well, because she would be the only vet in our city that would know that and that would tell you that because she's our only holistic vet in the province. But it was that kind of thing where this customer immediately went, she knows her stuff. And, and, and she's going to tell me the same thing that my holistic vet is telling me because she's talking about it right now. My whole team does that. And I expect that of my team, right? They need to be able to give pet parents the education that we can't find anywhere else unless we find it online. And then you go down 14 different rabbit holes.
So I have, not only do both Carly and I have an extensive blog section on our websites, but I created an education station in my store, which I had been wanting to do for a while, and I finally carved out a space to do it. And I'm blessed enough to have a big store and can do it. And I have physical flyers there. I have large posters, and I actually have a sign that says information. Sorry, it's called an information station is what I
Yeah.
call it. But we can take customers over there and show them the visuals. Visuals help so much. And Carly, you use a lot of props, which is awesome too. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But if you're really small, like I'm going to go back to a grooming salon that just has like a tiny front entrance area. You could even create like a little card, like a postcard size thing that has tips on how to brush your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all struggle with all the grooming salons out there struggle with customers that don't brush their dogs at home, but they want long coats. And instead of repeating yourself over and over again to everyone, you could hand them your card.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it could even have a QR code on it that goes to an even longer blog about it, or maybe a video.
Well, okay. And I think too, when we're talking about a consistent experience, that consistency has to span across not only your in-store customers or in salon or whatever type of pet business you are, when they are talking to you in person, that same experience has to be replicated across all channels, all forms of media that they connect or communicate with. So how do you answer your phone? What does your Instagram look like? What does your TikTok look like? What does your website look like? How do your emails sound when you send those weekly emails? Because you know you're sending weekly emails. Those all have to be consistent. So I actually, and this has been one of the projects that I'm so happy I'm like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel because it's been on my list of to-dos for a long time, but it was a time heavy
Time suck.
times. Well, I don't think it's a time suck because I think it's worthwhile time, but it was very time intensive. Is that the word I'm looking for? There was a
Yeah.
lot of time. I needed a lot of time to put this together. And it wasn't just me. Like this has been my team has been working on it and I've been working on it. But what we're trying to do is we are trying to replicate our in-store experience online more so than we ever have. So when you walk into my store, and maybe you've been sent here by your best friend because they had that feeling. They walked into House of Paws and like, oh my God, this is the best store ever. Why? I don't know. It was just awesome. I want everybody to feel like that when they come in and when they leave. So Buddy walks in my door and he's like, my dog is itching and I can't do anything to stop it. I'm like, okay, well, let's like, what's he eating? What, what's this? What's that? Are we using these kinds of things? Blah, blah, blah. And we go through all of our questions to kind of try to pinpoint why the dog is itchy. And then we're going to start making recommendations. So this very long project is coming close to almost being done, where now when you go to my website, it literally says, welcome to House of Paws, where we're a different breed of pet store and we like to do things naturally and we like to We like to address root cause versus masking symptoms. So tell me what's going on with your pet today. And then you can click, my dog is itchy. My dog has anxiety. My dog wants natural flea and tick options. Like whatever the things are that we talk about in store, now they can get that same experience online. And I think even the fact that like I call them pet parents and I call them mom and I call them dad, right? Like when I'm being the voice of the dog in my store, which I often do, I'm always like, "Mom, let me do my chomp lifting." And so they're pet parents. But that comes across in my emails, that comes across in my socials, that comes across everywhere that we're going to refer to a pet guardian. We don't call them pet guardians, we call them pet parents. And it's online, it's in store, and that's the point. There's a very long point that I'm trying to make about being consistent, regardless of which platform or media they are interacting with you on.
Yes. Are we ready to wrap this up, Carly?
Very close, very close. I do want to talk about too, if you are kind of going, hey, I'm a pet pro, I have a logo, I have a business name, I try to be consistent, but I don't know what the heck my brand is. Because I guarantee there's a lot of businesses out there that if you ask them, what would your best customers say about you when they recommend you to a friend? They don't know. So that is something that you should be able to identify. What would your best customers say when they recommend you to their friends? And if you can't figure that out, like that's literally your brand in the wild, right? That is what the peeps are saying about you when you're not in the room to hear it. And you want to make sure that it's a good story, but you've got to create that story inside and it's got to be consistent. If they're out there and they're saying, oh, they're so knowledgeable, but man, that story's a mess and crap, I can't find anything on their website and their Instagram, non-existent. We've got a brand disconnect there, right? Like there's no consistency. The other way that you could look at
I also kind of, if I'm finding a new store, whether it's a pet store or not, to do business with, to go shop at, if and maybe it's my age, but maybe it's what we do, but if I look at their Instagram or their Facebook and it's all over the place and it has all these fonts and different and just it looks bad,
yeah.
then I'm going to think that their store looks bad, or I'm just going to think that they're just not organized. I don't know. I don't feel like I would do as much repeat business with them. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not professional.
Mm-hmm. And that's it's easy enough for all of us to be professional. We have the tools to help us.
Would you say, Carly, like if you're just not going to do an Instagram as a business, like if you're half-assing it and posting every other month and it looks horrible, would you rather just shut it down?
That's a tough one because it's not consistent with your brand if it is that mismatched approach that you just discussed. But if I can't find you on socials somewhere, you are totally limiting the opportunity for customers to find you in the first place, right? Like you're reducing your exposure. Social is a free tool in order to allow you to gain exposure.
Right.
I think what I would do is if I was struggling, if I was thinking, oh, I have to be on Facebook and I have to be on Instagram and I have to be on TikTok and I have to be on YouTube Shorts and I have to be like all of these places. And I would say if you're struggling with that, I would say figure out where you're getting the best ROI and then focus all of your energies on that until you can kind of create a system that would allow you to post in multiple places. For me, we get the biggest, I would say, ROI on my videos or my socials from TikTok. And so I build it on TikTok, but then I repurpose it everywhere else. So it's not hard to go once I've got the video, I just have to go, like I copy my caption and I
Well,
post it.
and I feel like if you're just not tech savvy at all, find a company that can do it for you.
Yeah, or find a youngin who works for you who loves the socials and give them some criteria and guidelines. Like I have that in my store. I mean, part of the expectation in my store is that anybody who's working has to post a minimum of 3 stories per day. But I still want that to be in my brand, in my voice, in my tone of House of Paws. So I've literally created, here's the guidelines and the criteria around posting. And oh, by the way, here's also 20 different ideas about what you could post on a story if you can't think of anything. I'll tell you, I'm the worst. If there's no stories on a House of Paws, a day that House of Paws is open, it's because Carly's working. I'm the worst one for it, but I'm doing all the other socials,
See,
right? So,
I like to post my stories in my pajamas right when I wake up. So, whenever I go into my store, I'll take a bunch of videos and pictures and stuff and then not do anything with it until I wake up the next morning, and that's
yeah.
when I post. Yeah.
Well, I've done that too, right? Normally, this all started, oh boy, years ago. We in my store, we decided to do a 30-day story challenge, and it was literally a test. I wanted to see what kind of traction do we get on stories. If we posted consistently for 30 days and did a 30-day Instagram story challenge, literally we kind of came up with a calendar and we're like, okay, on this day we're going to post about this. And that's where it started. And we've never stopped
And
until,
you
again, like I said,
did you see a huge jump?
well, there's definitely more traction on stories than feed. There's way more traction on reels than anything else on Instagram. And because of my own schedule, I've been neglecting my socials. Like I've never been this neglectful on my socials since we've been open. But I am also to the point, like I was so tired every day that I'm like, are you kidding me? The last thing I want to do is
I
record and
know.
edit videos. So
Well, and I
now
keep
that
thinking about the day that I'm gonna hire a different person or company to do it for me, and I keep wondering, I'm close to when that's gonna happen, but it's hard to relinquish the power.
it is, and well, I mean, that's why I would start with something small, like show me what you got. And does this sound and look like I'm doing it? Because if it doesn't, beat
Well,
it.
that's
Like,
why you
yeah,
need to create your brand voice and, like, clearly define your brand and how it looks on socials and what fonts you want and all that, and then you can give that to the company or the person to refer to.
yeah. Yep. So, okay, here's the thing. We've talked about a lot of things. There's actually a bunch of things that we didn't talk about.
Oh my gosh,
Be-
we're sorry if we were all over the place, but it's these are all things that we're guilty of here and there. So
there's some good shiznat in here too, because you know what? Okay. There are stores, there are brands, there are dog walkers, pet sitters, all the things. There are lots out there that are nailing it. They've got a beautiful brand immediately when you see something on social media, who that's from, because they've done such a good job of creating that consistency in their brand, whether in person, online, over the phone, in email, what's coming from them. And there's probably a lot of businesses out there who are struggling with this because they're like, I'm not a creative person, or I'm not a marketing expert, or I'm not a creative artist or whatever. But there's tools that can help you. And the biggest thing about this is that you do try to get as consistent as possible with your brand on all channels. And that is your colors, that is your fonts, that is your voice, that is your tone, that is all of the things, the experience that you provide, and the feeling that customers get when they're working with your business because of the brand that you've created, and that feeling is part of it. So for exclusively for our Substack,
we're
our
gonna have
Substack,
the full workbook on.
everything will be in there.
Yes.
Everything will be in there,
Okay.
including some worksheets that will allow you to kind of sit down and tune your
Brainstorm.
brand
Yeah.
and brainstorm and come up with maybe some of the pieces that are missing if they are. But
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Well, happy April, everybody. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Pet Pro, that's it for this week.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
Just hit all the buttons.
And if you want more, join us in the Indie Insider, our private Facebook group for pet pros.
Then you'll never miss the podcast that makes you sit, stay, and beg for more. The Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Girls.
Quick tip, put bestsellers at eye level.
Eye level equals buy level.
Oh. Can we just say something out loud for a second? Business coaching does not have to cost hundreds of dollars a month.
It really doesn't. And yet somehow our industry has normalized paying massive retainers for someone to tell you what you already know you should be doing, but not how to do it.
Exactly. You should send emails. Cool. How? You should run events. Great. What kind? You should train your staff. Okay. With what system? That's why we created the Pet Shop Girls Off the Record Substack.
Because inside Off the Record, we don't just talk about what to do, we break down exactly how we do it in our own stores and businesses.
That's right. The spreadsheets, the playbooks, the templates, the systems, the scripts. We've already done the trial and error so you don't have to burn cash figuring it out.
If something worked for us, we show you how to implement it. If something flopped, we tell you that too. It's real-world, indie-tested strategy.
This is business coaching for pet pros who actually want to grow without paying $200, $800, or $2,000 a month for vague motivation.
You get proven strategies you can apply immediately to increase revenue, build stronger teams, and run a smarter operation.
If you've ever thought, I just need someone to show me exactly how they're doing this, Off the Record is where that happens.
Come behind the scenes with us.
Join Pet Shop Girls Off the Record on Substack. The link is in our show notes.